Awesome. We'll get started in just a couple seconds. Is it up? All right.
Yes.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We are getting ready to kick off some great presentations here from Cohort 3 of Founder University. We have 20 founders with us today. They'll be pitching for 2 minutes each. We're going to pitch in 5 groups of 4. So we'll have 5 founders pitch, and then we'll go to Jason, Mike Savino, and Molly Wood for some feedback, questions on each kind of mini cohort there of pitches, and then we'll move right along to our next group. Jason and Mike and Molly want to identify a couple of them from each session that stand out. Be great. And then at the end, we can go back and review quickly all 20 companies that we heard from and kind of pick 2, 3 that stood out today. I don't know if we want to go through Mike really quick and do a quick intro of yourself for the founders here that don't know and the people on the live stream.
Sure. Hello, everybody. Looking forward to hearing the pitches today. I'm Mike Savino. I'm the president of Launch, but more importantly, I was Jason's first boss. He was just 24 years old, and he was exactly the same, if you could believe that. I always like to say that it's good to be nice to people on the way up because they give you a job when you're old. So it's good. But at Launch, I handle all the day-to-day operations. So Jason can be Jason, be out in front of all our media properties and meet with all of you and pick great companies to invest in. I've been here since March.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. I'm sure I see all the noties in the YouTube channel, so I'm sure they're well aware of you, Molly, but if you want to do a quick intro.
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Molly Wood. I'm the newest managing director here at Launch. I manage our climate portfolio. See us at thesyndicate.com/climate. And when I started this job, Mike Savino told me the best way to become a great VC was to watch 100 pitches or 1,000. I'm working on 1,000, and I'm just thrilled to be here and learn from all of you and see the great things that you're building.
Awesome. Thanks, Molly. And hey, Jason.
Hello, sir. How are you doing? Hey,
Just
Founder
lovely.
University peeps. And I guess we're live streaming to the This Week in Startups audience as well.
We are.
Awesome. Well, hi to the noties who were with us this morning for the news. And yeah, I can't wait to hear these pitches. And let's get started.
Amazing. All right. We'll just jump right into it. Were you here, Jason, when we said we're going to go 4 groups, 5 founders in each, hear them back to back, just kind of like you do at the 2-day Founder University. And we'll just get through, work right through them. So first up, we have Argyle. All right.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and we can see it. You're going full screen. I'll put 2 minutes on the clock for you. Ready? Go.
My name is Merritt Thatcher. I am the CEO of Argyle. We help construction go faster with fewer F-ups using site visualization. Today's F-up was that there was a clash on site that prevented the install crew from proceeding as planned. They lost a half day of work, they had to order new materials, and they had to reschedule the work, resulting in some $8,000. These kinds of errors happen every single day, leading to a $500 billion rework rate for our industry in the United States. We are proposing site visualization. We take their existing building information models, convert them into an AR-ready format, and place them on the site precisely. We let every single trade model into the headset so that all you have to do is click on the component that you want to inspect. As you walk the site, the model loads around you, so you're able to do all of it on the fly. Eric says no knowledge is needed. You take a first year, hand them Argyle, and 30 minutes later, they're back with a QA report. We have 23 users, 3 of them are paid, and there are 60 on our wait list wanting this on something besides a HoloLens. Our business model is a SaaS license per seat. We're selling the current customers at $6,000 a year and are coming up on a $1,200 a year or $99 a month for the mobile version. Our competitive landscape is that we are the fastest, easiest to use, and we are made to scale. The thing that makes us easy to use is our site alignment, which is patented. It finds itself using computer vision clues where other companies might be using beacons or scans. Our go-to-market is with video. Some 700,000 people are on the site managing the project or site supers, and we're targeting them. We're showing up with TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn Learning course we have coming up. We're also at a lot of conferences. We expect some viral effects in the subsequent years as subcontractors move from many projects. Our road to 50 million ARR is with 1/4 of it being the headsets and the rest being mobile. Our founding team is myself. I'm a 3rd-generation construction contractor and a former lawyer. My co-founder is a building architect turned software architect. He built this. We help construction go faster with fewer F-ups.
Awesome. Thanks, Merritt. Go ahead and stop sharing your screen. It's our first one. We'll go right along to Digiburn. Can I hear you, Georgie?
Yep.
There we go. I can hear you. It looks like you're on slide 7. There we go. All right. 2 minutes on the clock for you. Ready? Go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Georgi, co-founder and CEO of Digiburn Health, the world's first 100% self-help burnout app and a digital therapeutic to be. I'm here to speak about love, humility, and empowerment. These are the values that guide us across every decision we take. We are nowadays living in the very onset of a global mental health crisis. Burnout rates are through the roof. There is still no clinical path existing, and the care gap is massive. Individuals tend to still realize the need for help way too late in the process and don't really want to speak about it. For this, we've gathered a team out of 3 different countries and created what became a 12-week self-growth program and the continuous add-on support with early warning system. It's based on a 3 times life-proven approach for overcoming burnout, addresses the condition holistically, body, mind, and growth, and creates equitable health available globally 24/7. But hey, let's make it better. Why not empower enterprise to create better work environment by tracking closely the burnout relevant factors? Everybody loves it. Apple got in touch with us proactively and featured us at barely MVP stage. Now, the market is massive. We find ourselves between a humongous over $1 trillion expenditure on an annual basis and the vastly growing DTX market. We value our obtainable market at 50 million at the moment, which however could be dramatically different with the right partners on board. What stands out is our dedication to burnout only and root cause obsession. We are data-driven and create long-term user engagement. We plan doubling our income by using B2B, B2C for positioning and B2B as the main growth channel. We have a bunch of things ongoing, but most importantly, all the needed ingredients for an effective global success. Thank you so
Awesome.
much. Open for questions.
Awesome. Thanks so much. If you go ahead and stop sharing your screen. Move on to Oqire.
Okay, confirming you can hear me, Charlie.
I can hear you, Paul. I can see your screen. I got 2 minutes on the clock. Ready, go.
Hi, I'm Paul, and Oqire is a B2B SaaS solution that enables enterprise sales teams to close more business. Meet Matt. Matt is a sales executive at a software company and manages the overall sales process, but Matt can't do it alone. That's where Sarah comes in. As a pre-sales consultant, she brings the technical know-how required to demonstrate the solution. However, the process of aligning what a customer needs to see in a demo is under-optimized and often broken. Oqire solves this challenge and makes sales and pre-sales teams more effective. Firstly, it makes it easy to create and manage opportunities that require a demo and streamlines the sales discovery process by moving it off of email and away from ad hoc notes that are saved in a variety of locations, making this information hard to find, hard to manage, and hard to leverage when planning a deal-winning demo. It provides the ability for sales and pre-sales to run a proper discovery process and uncover what's really driving an organization's decision-making criteria, and it allows Sarah to define a confidence interval from a pre-sales rather than a sales perspective. Our business model is straightforward. It's a paid SaaS subscription of $25 per user per month. Oqire is live with 1 company using the platform and 3 more in the pipeline. Our go-to-market strategy leverages content marketing and direct outreach to target sales and pre-sales leaders in enterprise software companies. Oqire will hit 10 million ARR in 2025 with 4,600 customers and 100 million in 2027 with 8,300 customers, in line with our plans to move upmarket over time. There are 10.1 million sales and pre-sales professionals who can gain value from our platform, equating to a total addressable market of more than 12 billion. Providing value to these teams is an accelerating market, but the majority of our competition is focused on helping companies create pre-recorded demos and product click-throughs. Oqire is focused on mid-level enterprise and above, where sales are more strategic in nature. I'm a 4-time founder, 3 of which were acquired, and have 10 years of sales experience. I'm also a self-taught full-stack developer and have the ability to build, market, and sell the solution. That's Oqire. We're enabling enterprise sales teams to close more business. Thank you.
Great job, Paul. All right, 2 more for this group. Taotter's already up and ready to roll here. Can I hear you, Sophie?
Let's do this. You
There we
hear me,
go.
Charlie?
I can hear you. I have 2 minutes on the clock for you. Ready, go.
I'm Sophie. I'm the CEO of Taotter. We are building a marketplace to help founders delegate the startup headache. This is Sarah. She's a founder with $1 billion idea that changed the world. She's excited until she realizes that launching an MVP is expensive and time-consuming. Building a data room requires expert support, and running marketing sprints to validate her business model is not a walk in the park. Fortunately for Sarah, there's Taotter. It's the platform to hire vetted and trained for startups remote talent without breaking the bank. Sarah takes a minute to define her needs, and our algorithm narrows her search down. She decides to hire Donna here. Donna is trained to understand the lean startup framework. Donna helps Sarah build her dream team of remote talent. They all run sprints and collaborate. In the process, Sarah was able to launch her MVP and raise some funds. At any point, Sarah has visibility, not just on what they've accomplished, but also on where her time and her investors' money went. Our rate rate is 45%. In the last year, we launched an MVP, trained and certified 37 Donnas, built a pool of over 200 vetted talent, serviced 41 customers, completed 109 transactions, and generated $80,000. Not only did we retain 85% of these customers, but also seen a 20% month-on-month growth rate. All of these without spending a single dollar on marketing. Although we're lean stack and strategizer certified coaches, we're always entrepreneurs first. We care deeply about startups and the global workforce. Taotter is becoming an ecosystem that's driven by AI sourcing, where B2B matchmaking and investment opportunities present themselves. This will drive us towards our $125 million GTV goal by 2025. Join us, help founders delegate the startup headache.
Awesome job there, Sophie. All right, and we'll grab 1 more from this first group of 5. Spencer, are you ready with NeoCharge? I can see your screen. I can't quite
Can you hear me?
it yet. There we go. I can hear you now.
Excellent. First off, Cal, you're my favorite bestie. Thank
All
you
right,
all
yeah.
for your time.
I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock here for
2
you.
minutes on
Ready?
the clock.
All right.
Awesome.
Ready?
Yep.
Go.
First off, Cal, you're my favorite bestie. Thank you all for your time. I'm Spencer with NeoCharge, and we're optimizing home energy usage. This is Matt. Matt just got his new electric car and needs charging at home. Turns out to install charging, his electrician will need to upgrade the wiring in his home, which would cost at least $2,500. This is way more than Matt wanted to pay, so immediately started looking for other solutions online, and that's where he found the Smart Splitter. The Smart Splitter, Matt could easily set up charging by sharing his existing dryer outlet. What's great is he didn't need an electrician. He could self-install charging in just a few minutes, and he saved over $2,000. Other customers are also using it to charge 2 cars without rewiring or to power many other types of devices. We currently have over 3,000 customers. We're a top EV charging product on Amazon. We've done over $1.2 million in total business revenue. We also have active partnerships and rebates with top utilities, and we've grown over 700% since early last year. We're now running at a $1.1 million hardware annual run rate, and we're just getting started. Turns out Matt was having other challenges as well. Matt had no idea how clean the energy he was charging with really was and wasn't able to track his home energy costs. Let me show you how we're solving this with NeoCharge Connect. Matt connects up his car and his utility and can easily view and control all of his devices in one place. He can see how clean or dirty his energy really is, and we help him optimize his charge for the cheapest and the greenest times. Now, because the app connects directly with the car, it works with or without the Smart Splitter. We'll be integrated with over 15 auto brands by early next year. And we also earn software revenue from utilities for shifting energy usage to better times. We earn an average of $6 a month per EV on our platform. Now, this recurrent software revenue is secured through utilities, and the app's free for EV drivers to accelerate the revenue we earn from utilities. Most EV drivers will save hundreds of dollars and reduce their emissions by 30%. This will lay a strong foundation for a path to 100 million by 2028. Our team's composed of engineers and sales and marketing experts that drive electric cars. I really appreciate your time. I'm Spencer with NeoCharge, and we're optimizing home energy usage. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Spencer. Go ahead and stop sharing your screen. Jason, I'll turn it over to you for that. Some feedback or questions for the first group of 5.
Yeah, great. 5 companies were all great. Great presentations as well. We understood what each of the products does, and everybody was talking at a pretty good pace. Of course, these can be refined, and of course, you're all pretty early inside of the process. We saw 5 great companies. I think, is it going to be Molly and me or Mike, Molly and me?
The 3 of you.
The 3 of us. Okay, perfect. So then I guess the most efficient way to do this would be for each one of us to pick the company we want to ask a question to. So Molly, do you have a favorite and/or one you want to ask a question to? And then I'll ask you for your number 2, your number 1.
Great.
In this group.
Great work, everybody. So 1 question for 1 startup. Is that
1 question for
what you're
1
saying?
startup.
Yep, great. Oh, then I have to
And that's
decide. Okay. And then I'm going to go with NeoCharge. And my question is, why not charge consumers for the app? If they're going to save money already, why not give them the opportunity to pay some of that savings for the app and also get the revenue through the utility savings?
You want them to answer here live, Jason?
Yeah, do you want me to answer right away, or do you want
Yeah,
me
I think
to...
a quick answer is a good idea. Yeah, we're just going to give you each.
Awesome.
Well, 3 people will get a question. Best case scenario. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely an option. We are starting with it being free, one, because we want to get as many users on the platform as possible to start, and also we want to make sure it's as accessible as possible to kind of help people use cleaner and more affordable energy. So it is definitely an option, but we're starting with it being free. Great question.
Mike, did you have a question for one of the founders?
Sure. For Argyle, at what stages during construction is the software used? It seems like you said for inspection, which sounds to me like it would be later in the process. But are there other stages where the software comes in as necessary?
Yes, that's used as early as when you have a site. So it can be used for underground work all the way through closeout.
All right. I don't have a question for any of the companies. I thought they all did good, but I'll give you a couple of notes before we go to our voting. Mike, we have a Notion document. You can put in your first or second next to the name of the company. Okay, you're in there. Great. So just for Argyle, you had some audio quality issues. I know it sounds silly, but when you're going to be on a call with, probably 20 people a week, make sure your audio is perfect. Get a really professional microphone, because you were kind of blasting our ears out a little bit at times. Digiburn, very interested in seeing how companies actually engage or don't engage with this product, right? I thought it was an interesting idea. For Oqire, it was unclear in the presentation, I understand it's just 2 minutes, how it differs from other platforms. And I think that's going to be your big challenge, because, man, there's a lot of sales platforms out there. NeoCharge, I would buy it. I don't know if I'd invest in it as a company, because hardware's so hard, and I'm not sure it's a very protectable thing, but I did really appreciate, because I have installed dryer outlets before at places to do this exact thing, because I couldn't put an AB switch with the dryer in the garage, right? So you've definitely found some strategy here. So for me, my second place was Taotter. I just thought freelancers for startups is a great idea. I've heard the idea before, but you had great traction. So I picked you as my second place because of the traction. 45% is a ridiculously huge take rate. I'm not sure you can get away with that long-term. Probably needs to be 20, 25% max. And then my first place was Argyle. It seems to me that construction is a great use for AR. I was wondering if after you sell it, if you can keep having the building owner pay for the same exact data set and the same service to keep it live, to do inspections, et cetera, post, whatever. So I'm sure you've thought of that. Mike, who is your number 2?
My number 2 was Oqire.
Why? Yeah, if you want to.
I think, the ability to close deals is always something that somebody is looking for. And the one part of the part of the pitch that I liked was focusing on the pre-sales technical effort.
Great. And your first?
Was Argyle as well.
Okay.
Same reasons as you.
So Mike Savino picked second, Oqire, and
Oqire.
first
Argyle.
was Argyle. Molly?
My second is NeoCharge because I have not yet learned my hard lesson with hardware, although I do think that you should find some more recurring revenue streams so that you can eventually get someone like Jason over the hump. My first is also Argyle. I think it's so well defined as a product. It has a very specific use case and obvious TAM. And I mean, you have FUps in your presentation. I love that.
All right, great job, everybody.
Excellent. We'll
Everybody
move
off to yeah. Let's do the next
move
one.
on to the next group of 5 here.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it moving quick here.
I love it. All right, Matter Protocol. Are you ready here, Shri? Excellent. We can see it. I don't know if I can hear you yet. Go ahead and unmute. Still can't hear you, Shri.
Sorry. Yes.
There we go.
I'm here.
All right, I can hear you and I can see it. I got 2 minutes on the clock. Ready? Go.
Thank you. My name is Shri. I'm with Matter Protocol, increasing the reach and utility of human conversations using AI and blockchain. I'm a former Google engineer. We got started with a grant from Facebook. We're funded by Polygon, among others, and we're building solution for Ethereum Foundation, Polygon, and a number of other organizations. We'll be profitable in the next quarter. Jason tweeted a few months ago, and he ordered a custom search solution for his podcast. So Jason, here I am today presenting to you a custom search engine for All In Podcast. Let's search for WeWork.
The WeWork example was so instructive because they were buying under market.
And this is why it turns out that WeWork is a pretty bad business model, is because if all your leases are month to month.
You can also see different topics mentioned in each video. You can look at the transcript. You can play by clicking the transcript.
That every week.
Also, you can see the sentiment of different companies mentioned in each of the video. We're also translating all of the episodes into world languages so that the 85% of the world that doesn't understand English can access this podcast. Big picture, 25 years ago, Google started with a catch-all search engine for all of the internet. Today, with the increasing diversity of content and strong communities built around this content, we need custom solutions for each of these content communities. We aim to deploy 5 million custom search engines over the next 5 years, everything from Joe Rogan to Khan Academy and everything in between. We're also building specialized products for investment videos from multiple sources, transcribing them and providing sentiment analysis and dashboard. Matter Protocol is built for third parties to build anything. Thank you for your time,
Yeah.
Matter Protocol.
Thanks so much, Shri.
Thank you.
All right, we'll keep moving right along to Mehul here with Health Compiler. Excellent. We can see it. Can I hear you yet?
Can you see my screen? Can you hear me?
Yep. Just went full screen and we can see you. I have 2 minutes on the clock. Ready? Go.
Hi, my name is Mehul. I'm the founder of Health Compiler. We're DevTools APIs for accelerating digital health innovation. So here's how our product works. Jessica, who's a CTO of a digital health startup, she faces complexity in building health interfaces and infrastructure, whereas her focus should be on building patient engagement applications, and she has to maintain it and put upfront high cost. Her goals, time to market and ease of launch. Her options, build multiple interfaces herself, use expensive consultants, or leverage a platform. That's where Health Compiler comes in. It's a SaaS usage-based pricing, base platform fees with usage-based pricing already integrated with number of APIs number of source systems that you see on the side with a small block of code that the digital health innovators can just use. A simple product we built with the API keys, and with you can easily access the health data that you need. Our target customers are digital health startup, be it AI companies, digital therapeutics company, or a telemedicine company. Why now? Because of all the mandate, especially around 21st Century Cures Act, which definitely pushes everyone in the healthcare to exchange data. The founders behind this, myself, GTM background, and have worked with a number of healthcare companies. And my co-founder, who I've known since 2009, BS and MS in computer applications, has built the system along with our in-house team. We raised some money from our advisors and investors that we have on the board. And simple pricing, $4.99 plus 0.0049 per API with a number of integrations built into it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. If you want to go ahead and stop sharing your screen, keep moving right along to our third company here in this second group with Dialect.
All right. Can you hear me?
Can hear you, Leon? Yep. Kevin, are you going to be off mute as well?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. All right. You
All
got
right.
2 minutes on the clock. Ready? Go.
Hi, everyone. I'm Leon, my co-founder Kevin, and we're building Dialect, a live video help marketplace for developers so they don't have to debug alone. This is TJ, one of our early customers. He's building a website for a client, but he's been stuck for days on this one bug. He's tried asking for help on Stack Overflow and Discord communities, but due to the tedious back and forth messages and slow response times on the platforms, he still hasn't gotten his bug fixed. Luckily, a friend tells him about Dialect, where he types out his problem in the request box and makes a request. Within a minute, he's connected in a video call with one of our helpers. And in just 15 minutes, the helper helps him fix his bug completely. Since then, TJ has made 5 more requests and has been helped by several unique helpers, each time getting his bug quickly fixed. Our business model is a marketplace. Users purchase minutes within Dialect to spend on live meetings with helpers. Our minutes cost $25 an hour, and we take a 20% cut.
Since our launch 4 months ago, we've had 100 free meetings, 25 paid meetings, and a 97% success rate with an average meeting length of 19 minutes. And our users have paid over $300 for our services. We're the only debugging-focused live video help platform, and compared to other services, we're community-driven, allowing programmers of varying skill levels to become helpers. Thus, we're able to offer instant video help for a much cheaper price. Over the next 2 months, we'll be focused on getting 50 paid requests per week, targeting users who've paid for programming help before in bootcamps and courses. And by January, we'll add support for Python and C++, partnering with and recruiting helpers from large Discord communities. We're also developing software to be released in March that makes it easier for helpers to edit and debug users' code in a video call to increase helper activity and retention.
Our road to 100 million involves expanding Dialect for businesses by 2024 and hitting our goal of 3,000 businesses and 400,000 monthly active users by 2029. Dialect was built by a team of developers who've been through the pain of having to fix bugs alone. We're eager to give every programmer access to instant video help so nobody has to debug alone again.
Excellent. Nice job, guys. All right. We're going to move on to our fourth founder in this group with Stacked. All right, Heather, can I hear you?
Can you hear me okay, Charlie?
I can now, and I can see your
great.
screen. I've got 2 minutes on the clock. Ready? Go.
Hi, I'm Heather May, founder of Stacked, a mobile app connecting authors and readers. Meet Julia. She just spent $10,000 publishing her novel and pays for reviews to get discovered, but struggles to find her readers. She wishes there was an easier way. Rochelle hosts a book club and is looking for that next great read, but she doesn't have time to sift through reviews. She wishes there was an easier way. What about getting stacked? It's like Bumble for books. Readers can search the stacks by category, genre, keywords, and region. Sponsored stacks get featured so you can find out what other people are reading, like what's the Twist Book Club reading? Discover new authors. If you like J. Cal's Angel, you might like these other investment-related books. Build your stacks, connect directly with authors, and share on your favorite social media outlets. Easy peasy. Now Julia's Texas Murder Mystery is getting discovered by Rochelle, who's shared it in her book club stack on Facebook. The U.S. book industry boasts 26 billion ARR with 1.25 billion from self-published authors. Our biggest competitor, Goodreads, is owned by Amazon and listings are ranked by reviews and sales. Stacked features all titles. We're mobile first and we have a fun, unique UI. On Stacked, Julia pays a one-time $50 fee to set up her profile page, giving her control over how her readers purchase her books. Each book has a yearly subscription of $25. We don't know the number of authors in the US, but we do know there are 1.7 million new self-published titles each year with a growth rate of 263%. Starting with a beta launch at the end of this year, we plan to onboard 1,000 authors with one title monthly throughout 2023, keeping in mind most authors have multiples. We'll increase the number of titles and authors onboarded over the next 5 years while rolling forward each previous year's subscriptions. By year 5, we project to have onboarded 200,000 with an ARR of 8 million, a fraction of the annual TAM. But wait, this number is super conservative. Goodreads onboarded 750,000 members in their first year, and we're planning to go global. As a senior engineer at Stitch Fix for the past 5 years, I understand the importance of personalization. I also self-published 2 books last year and uniquely understand this pain point. It's time to get stacked, y'all. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Heather. Grab one more here. Interviewer. You hear us, Franz? There we go.
Here I am. Hey.
All right.
All right. Ready, set.
Go. You want to go full screen on it here?
Let's go slideshow.
There we go. I got 2 minutes on the clock for you. Ready? Go.
All right. Hello. My name is Franz from Interviewer. Traditionally, candidates would go to a job board like Indeed and submit their resume in the hopes of a prompt response from their employer. But on the employer side, they receive hundreds of resumes, blindly picking one from a stack to interview. For many opportunities, this method of introducing yourself is disjointed and inefficient. Fortunately, there is Interviewer. We at Interviewer believe that all initial introductions for an opportunity should begin with a video conversation. Interviewer enables a candidate to create interviews and share them through our marketplace. Employers will be easily able to associate a face to the name and allow for an intuitive introduction. Let me give a quick demo of our app. So a user would go to interviewer.com. They would search for the opportunity they're looking for, and they would say, okay, I'm interested in accounts receivable analyst.
My name is Michelle Thornton. I'm hiring for Bitly for an accounts receivable analyst.
Great. She can ask the first question.
For the role, you'll be preparing accurate customer invoices. Would love to understand the volume that you used to and how many invoices did you have to prepare?
Okay, the candidate can then respond to the question by any way they would like and say, hello, I respond to plenty of analyst questions, and that's all. So the question by any way they would like. Complete. Sign in. And you can upload the interviews real time. But let's go back to the presentation.
Hi, my name is Michelle Thornton. I'm hiring for Bitly for an accounts receivable analyst.
That was bad. Okay. All right, we recently launched our beta and currently have over 10 beta customers. We also have 3 enterprise customers that will be onboarding successfully after our beta launch. How do we make money? It's simple. Everyone gets 10 free interview responses. And after that, you get to choose between a pay per interview response or a flat fee, basically unlimited interview responses. Additionally, we will be providing many value-added services, such as being featured, outsourcing interview question creation, and many more. Our initial target audience will focus in on millions of blue-collar jobs where resumes doesn't exactly tell the best story. There are over 10
right
million.
there, France. I'm sorry to cut you off, man.
Okay.
But that was 2 minutes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good job there. Yeah, go ahead and stop sharing your screen. Go ahead and stop. Oh,
right there.
See if I can help you. There we go. All right, Jason. There's your next group of 5.
You're on mute.
You're on mute, Jason.
Mike, do you have a question for one of the 5? And then Molly.
Sure. A comment and a question for Matter Protocol. I wanted to say that whole first 20 seconds of your presentation, you threw out so many buzzwords. I would just ditch that, because once you started talking about being profitable next quarter, that's where you really intrigued me. And then showing the product demo was really cool. Talk to me about how you make money and what your revenue plan is for the business.
Yes, thank you, Mike. We're in talks with the Ethereum Foundation and to transcribe tens of thousands of hours of their workshops, developer tutorials, because all of that rich content is sitting in videos and not searchable. So we want to build the most efficient search engine for Web3 developers using that content.
How will you charge, though?
The charging is based on video minute. It'll be that's the conversation we are having currently. So it'll easily be in hundreds of thousands or over 1 million in revenue with their existing content plus ongoing content. And
right.
For marriage,
that's enough. Yeah. That's enough. We got to get to the next person, but not a great answer. I'll coach you in Launch Accelerator how to answer more concisely.
Thank you.
Better to have. We're going to charge, $100 per episode hour per year. Just something very straightforward. Okay, Molly, do you have a question?
I do. My question is for Stacked. Bumble for Books is adorable, but I wanted to understand a little bit more about the personalization part of this. Is there a social filtering aspect? Can authors target specific types of users? Like what makes this kind of more personalized than going to Goodreads and saying, I like sci-fi?
That's a great question, Molly. So I think what makes us a little bit different is that we're trying to bring the self-published books up in the stack. So what we're going to do is if based on what a reader has already in their current stacks, we can show them sort of that matchmaking quality of like, here's some new books that you might not have seen before, and you can choose to look through them or not. And that can like just change and shuffle over time. And then there's plenty of opportunity to build in more features for personalization, but I wanted to focus really streamline on just the basic stacks to begin with, and just matching self-published and published and traditionally published books.
All right, fantastic. I have a question for Dialect, which I thought was brilliant, by the way. Is this product in market yet? And
Yeah,
what's the traction like?
We put it in market 4 months ago. We pushed out MVP. We had like, it was free, whatever, but yeah. And then we're pushing it.
I'm curious, does it need to be over video? Because I would think most developers don't want to turn their camera on, just like most people probably don't with a random stranger. Wouldn't it be better just to open like a huddle and the chat window and just walk people through it?
Yeah, we're currently exploring asynchronous help, so it doesn't even have to be like real time. And that's where we're building software for that, and we're going to try to expand to there. But currently we're video help to just ease of use, and it's just simple for everyone to understand.
Yeah, I actually don't know if doing it asynchronously would be as magical. I think just paying 3 developers in the top 3 categories to be available, whatever number of days, 20 hours a day, and you just pick whatever the number one category is in developing, has the most number of developers, and just charge like a ridiculously low fee. This is kind of what Uber did. They bought time in cars in LA from one giant car service company. They said, we'll pay you this amount to have the availability of your group of drivers. And so they kickstarted it that way. But really, I think it's a very cool idea. And I picked you, Dialect, as my number 1, and I picked my number 2, Matter Protocol. I think like for Matter Protocol, like you've got like tokens and AI, and what you really have here is a product for podcasters that they would be willing to pay, thousands of dollars a year for, maybe even tens of thousands of dollars a year for, if there was some monetization here. And I would just make a SaaS product for people with audio and keep it super simple, and rip out everything else because it's too complicated, and just charge people. You can have up to 10,000 hours of audio for this price, up to 5,000 audio for this price, and you can white label it for them, put it on their site, etc. So great job. Molly, who is your number 2?
My number 2 was Health Compiler, which is not significantly less complicated than Matter. I was really torn between those two. But I have a little lingering concern about the TAM of digital health innovators. But I also think that if you can pull this off and create these simple API connections so that people can build on top of the health ecosystem, great, amazing. And then my number 1 is Dialect for all the same reasons.
Great. I actually put a note, Zapier for healthcare seems like a great idea. And we actually invested in a company that made middleware, and they ran out of money because the adoption was so low by health innovators. So my best piece of it, it might be perfect timing for you. You might be just early enough as opposed to way too early when we made. Jackie, what was the company that didn't work for us? Mel's company? My short-term memory is terrible.
Taffy.
What was it called again?
Was it Taffy?
Taffy, yes, Taffy. So we have a little scar tissue in this, which we like as investors, by the way. We have a little scar tissue. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's a little itchy. And yeah, maybe we want to reopen that wound and find the solution. Mike, who's your number 2?
My number 2 was Matter Protocol, for all the reasons you said. My number 1 was Health Compiler. I think with all the healthcare apps that we're seeing come out, if they could become like the Twilio of healthcare data, that could be a great outcome.
Fantastic. Okay, so Molly would pick it a Health Compiler as second. Mike Savino picked it as first. I picked Matter Protocol as second. Mike Savino picked it as second. I picked Dialect as number 1. Molly picked Dialect as number 1. Okay, I got all 6. All right, we're off to the race. And by the way, just shout out to Interviewer. Great job. I thought that was a interesting one. And there's that's a great domain name. And so I encourage you to keep pulling the string on that one. And I like the fact that you're working on blue collar. There's a lot of people in that space who are doing full service type things. So, obviously, the competitive set, and STKD stacked. I also thought that was intriguing. I wanted to understand the value prop a little more of like why the readers would pick it over, say, Goodreads, right? So cold start kind of problem. But let's go on to the next group.
Awesome. Halfway done. Nutrafol. Go ahead and share your screen. All right, we can see it. Can I hear you, Luke?
Yes, can you hear me?
I got it. Yep, I can hear you. I can see it. I got 2 minutes on the clock. Ready? Go.
Hi, I'm Luke, the founder of Nutrafol. We help content creators start their own meal prep brand. The main way creators make an income is through ad revenue or sponsorships. These sources of revenue are great, but most of the income is going towards the company advertising, not the creator. And if they wanted to start their own brand, they lack the time, distribution, and capital. Our solution is to help them build their own brand at no startup cost. We build their own store, work with them to design meals, and ship directly to their fans. Creators have complete control over their brand, and it's a steady income they could rely on. Now, I know what you're thinking. E-commerce, yuck, low margins, one-time buys with high advertising. Well, not for us. We spend nothing on advertising because the creator is the promoter while we handle the back end. Yum, yum. We don't have any ARR yet, but we've been contacting creators like crazy. Currently, we're working with 4 different creators, and when we finish developing their brands, we'll have access to a combined 17 million subscribers for free. We actually just signed on a YouTuber with 14 million followers that we're launching with in 2 weeks. About me, I've been an Amazon FBA seller for 4 years and homeschooled myself while working full-time. I've been building software since I was 12. I've built communities with over 20,000 members and work 12 hours a day, including weekends. This is what I love to do. I love nutrition. It's actually how I lost 60 pounds. And Prepped Meals is our beachhead market. I see helping creators build their own makeup, fitness, and shaving subscription brands in the near future.
Awesome. Nice job, Luke. Go ahead and stop sharing your screen. And we'll move on to Peekaboo. Vihan and Maddie, can I hear you both?
Can you hear me?
I can. Cannot hear Vihan yet.
Can you hear me?
Now I can. And I can see your
Okay,
screen. You got
great.
2 minutes on the clock. Ready? Go.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Vian, and I'm here with my co-founder, Maddie. And this is Peekaboo, the #1 newsletter platform for the creator economy. Meet Dexter. He's a passionate software engineer who wants to share his knowledge, but he struggles to find ways to monetize his content. And the existing platforms like Substack and HubSpot don't quite offer the features that he needs. Luckily, Dexter discovers Peekaboo, and he creates Dev Newbie, a subscription-based newsletter that educates new engineers. Peekaboo saves him time, monetizes his passion, and allows him to grow his network easily. He can structure his content and publish his series on Peekaboo, which allows consumers to find and subscribe to his newsletter. After Dexter publishes his series, he navigates to his detail page and shares his newsletter on social networks like Twitter. Dexter adds a custom hashtag so his content is easily discoverable.
Meet Scarlett, an aspiring engineer seeking ways to prepare for upcoming interviews. She is new to developing, so she searches developer newbie in Google. The first tweet that pops up is a recent tweet from Dexter. When she clicks on the newsletter link, she is routed to Peekaboo and subscribes to his series. The next day, she receives a daily lesson. Scarlett goes into her interview feeling prepared and confident. She encounters similar problems to what was in Dexter's lessons, and she gets the job. She's ecstatic and tips Dexter directly on the Peekaboo platform as a thanks for all of the help that he has provided her. Peekaboo is open to free users and paid creators. Our current pricing model includes creator plans and tips. What makes Peekaboo stand out compared to our competitors is our intentional focus on creating a visual-first newsletter platform enabled to service all users. Our creators are building in public, so they are establishing a network effect. As we grow, we plan to roll out additional site features like premium subscriptions and creator support. This will allow us to build the foundation for growth, so we are able to reach well over $1 million in net income by 2025. I am Maddie, and my co-founder is Vian, and we are extending the future for the creator economy. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Good job. Move on to our third presentation for this group with Hugo. I can see your screen soft, but I cannot hear you yet.
that better?
There it is. Now we can hear you and we can see. I got 2 minutes for you. Ready? Go.
Hi, I'm Sav, founder of Hugo, client management software that helps freelancers save time and level up their service. Meet Garrett. He's a freelance app developer who spends 50% of his time on account and client management tasks. When he hears how much time Hugo can save, he jumps straight in, creating a project, setting his standard terms, and inviting his client, Dale. Dale receives the invite and is super happy he can request work, track, pay, and chat all in one place. And excited to get work done, Dale begins to complete a brief. Using rules and ML, Hugo's Clarity Meter provides real-time feedback, so Dale provides the right level of detail. Garrett receives the brief and prepares an interactive proposal with details, terms, costs, and a clear call to action. Dale views the proposal, signs the smart contract, and adds payment details. Hugo takes care of the rest, periodically updating Dale on progress, enforcing the terms, and collecting payment. Currently, Hugo takes 5% of all income for taking care of client management, and we will charge subscription for access to add-ons. Our beachhead market is freelance tech and product professionals, growing at 50% year on year. Through Founder U, we launched a site with over 450 joining the waitlist, built an MVP, have 5 trial users, and $630 in revenue from 1 freelancer servicing 2 clients. We'll get to 100 million by building a community, expanding to all professional services freelancers, and enhancing the product to include business management. Our product is differentiated by providing a high level of automation with minimal configuration to suit full-time or part-time freelancers. Our internal team built the product, have a deep understanding of the customer, and we've built a successful business together before. I'm Sav, and this is Hugo, client management software that helps freelancers save time and level up their service. Thanks.
Excellent. Thanks, Sav. And we'll keep moving right along to Propense AI.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Charlie. Let me share my screen. Can you see and hear me okay?
I can see and hear you, and I've got 2 minutes on the clock. Ready? Go.
Awesome. My name is Timothy Keith. I'm the founder of Propense AI, a B2B platform that's streamlining the way businesses approach cross-selling. It's no secret now, B2B growth is harder than it's ever been. Customer acquisition costs is at an all-time high, but it costs 5 times more to get a new client than to retain one. But no one ever talks about how much money is being left on the table by not cross-selling effectively. This is where Propense AI fills in. Where you look, just like Spotify curates songs based on what you liked before, Netflix makes shows based on what you watch. Propense AI is bringing the recommendation revolution to the B2B market. We do this by looking at purchase history patterns and formulate the propensity to buy modules by understanding what should be bought next from a historical data perspective, what should be bought next from a market perspective, but more importantly, giving a parameter of what's being actually cross-sold effectively so companies can grow. We're going to fully integrate with their entire technology stacks from CRMs to marketing automation and all revenue drivers for a company. We plan to raise in February with a committed LR group of over $6 billion, a potential 3.5 ACV hitting the ground running. Our clients are so excited they want to build, iterate, and validate the product for our go-to-market strategy and continue to launch. We have 3 different phases: bringing the web app, integrating the systems, and fully integrating with their technology stacks for a full client solution. Our model is very simple, $50 per user per month. The only difference is every client will have to ingest the data, so large sale deals, higher margins, but slow sales cycles. Propense AI doesn't have any direct competitors. Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics aggregate this information, BI tools visualize it, but we'll be fully sitting in between and executing on this cross-selling arena by integrating also with all these platforms, so the end users have the full experience. Our total addressable market bottom-up TAM, it first starts with the top accounting firms, which already is 120 million ARR, and then the rest will grow into the other places. Luckily, cross-selling is across all industries. The team is built of 2 former founders, the CMO of Plant Moran, and the lead consulting in the professional services space. This is Propense AI, and we're bringing the B2B recommended revolution to the B2B market.
Awesome. Thanks, Timothy. I'll grab one more here. Moses.
Hey, Charlie.
Hello, I can hear you.
Sharing. All right.
Excellent.
Can you see it?
All right, I can see it. I got 2 minutes on the clock. Ready, go.
Welcome. My name is Moses. I'm the co-founder of Thirst and Growl.
where we are on a mission to connect foodies, street diners, and mobile restaurateurs, street food vendors. Meet Linda, a college student, loves street tacos, enjoys nightlife after studies are done, prefers dining out with friends at food truck rallies. Meet James, a passionate restaurateur, loves cooking, lacks the funds to start a traditional restaurant business, struggles to build a community around his street food offerings. Today, both Linda and James struggle with engagement. Leading directories only provide the static listing of food trucks. They juggle between various social media channels to track activity and status. It is also hopeless to easily discover each other. How to TNG as a foodie. Linda searches for active vendors, picks a favorite to try out, takes photos and videos to share, engages with the TNG community. How to TNG as a vendor. James creates a new business account, completes his vendor profile to get exposure. When active, he sends notification to his followers, accesses vendor management tools, analytics to get insight of his business on TNG. As of there are over 35,000 licensed food trucks operating in the USA, which is 48% increase since 2020. Also, 40% are still in business in year 3 versus 30% for traditional restaurants. Current street food apps are fragmented. They do not focus on community nor offer an enhanced user experience. The business model will include several revenue sources, including free vendor portal with limited features. Primaries will include vendor subscription based on asset, defined as a mobile selling unit, and optional foodie subscription to discover late street dining experiences. Secondary sources will include booking fees, feed promotions, and monetization tools for creators. Go-to-marketing will include support to private vendor community and educational articles, also partnership with food truck industry leaders such as builders and associations. The focus for the next 12 months will include launching the beta, adding key features. Drive to 10 million ARR is going from 300 paid subscribers to over 8,000 by end of 2026, in parallel to the additional revenue sources. The team consists of myself as CEO and Carl as CTO, together building Thirst and Growl in-house. At Thirst and Growl, we are on a mission to connect foodies and mobile restaurateurs. Here in Growl, hungry? Let's TNG it.
Excellent. Thanks so much there. There we go, Jason. 5 more from group 3.
Well done. 5 great presentations. Molly, do you have a question for one of these fine founders?
I think my question is for Propense AI. Can you walk me through this with an example? Like, tell me the company that would use this and then sort of give me some specific examples of what they would use it for.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll talk with our first ICP, accounting firms, right? It's really across any division, but with accounting firms, they have several different services they provide, right? And due to the macroeconomics, a lot of the services historically have been automated away, like audit and tax. So they need to sell new services to the same clients. So if you think about like the buyer experience with Amazon, you buy peanut butter, you buy jelly next. That's kind of what we're doing for the businesses.
And you would ingest this data through other CRMs and basically say, so you're essentially your intelligence. You're saying this company, this person already bought life insurance. Maybe you have records of them buying a home, and so you want to sell them home insurance?
Yeah, it's similar to that, but it wouldn't be the CRM data. It would be the purchase data, so billing information. So basically how we build. So basically each client will have a profile, and based on the history of that profile, we'll be able to create an AI machine learning model to say what this is the propensity they have to buy next, to feed that information to the sales team. So it's across every industry. Accounting is just more palpable, and my relationships are there. That's why we're able to get those LLIs get started.
Gotcha. Great. Thanks.
No problem.
Mike?
For Nutrafol, expand a little bit more on how you plan to make money.
Yeah, so we are a subscription meal prep company, just like HelloFresh, except it's their own meal prep brand, and we will do all the cooking, delivering, everything. We just mark it up and split it with the creator.
What do you charge?
Sorry?
And what do you charge?
It's about $7.99 per meal, but it depends on the meals that the creators design with us. And the profit actually goes much higher because we don't have to spend anything on marketing. Well, HelloFresh spends up to 60% of their gross margin.
All right. I don't have a specific question, but I'm going to just give some general feedback. For Nutrafol, there's a lot of people out here doing ideas like Mr. Beast Burger with the long tail of influencers. I think it's a great idea. I would implore you to pick something that's incredibly high margin and that people want. I think food is like the hardest category. So to pick food is kind of crazy. But when you said, oh, here's a shaving kit, okay, that made more sense to me. Or here's like somebody who's a health and fitness person, you're going to make a kettlebell set. Whatever could be much higher margin, like super high margin, would make a lot more sense. I got pitched once on somebody taking these influencers and then doing travel packages where 20 of their top people could go with them to Egypt on a food tour or wherever, Spain on a food tour, and they would make $1,000 per person to take them on the food tour. They would make $20,000, and then, you get the idea. Peekaboo. I think in this presentation, you failed to differentiate enough. And I think with venture capitalists, you will also fail to differentiate enough against what's becoming very quickly a commodity business. And so with newsletters, just be aware that Ghost, Substack, Review being bought by Twitter, you're going to be in a space that's so crowded that you're going to get a lukewarm presentation, a lukewarm reception from investors, unless you can really say, hey, here's the why now. This is why we are distinctly better. It has to be 10x better than Substack. So just give that some thought. Doesn't mean you can't build a small business or a moderate business. Just, I think you're going to hit the wall with venture capitalists. Hugo, I like the design on this one a lot. And when I see world-class design, I start to think, really interesting. And I like the idea of combining billing and proposals and time. I would want to get into with you, like, who's the beachhead market? And then what are the economics here? And how does it scale to maybe 10 million in revenue for you? Not GMV, but like actual revenue to you, and how much people are willing to pay for it. I have some concerns about it being maybe a small business. Propense AI, super confusing pitch. And so I would work on that a bit. Molly, I think, made that clear from her questions. Thirst and Growl, I'm not sure people will pay to know about these food trucks, but people are obsessed with them. There is something there. I think a booking platform to book them, I've been pitched on them before, but maybe it was too early, I think could be a big winner. So I've often looked for, hey, where are all the food trucks? And like, can I just order them and I'll pay for it? Or, even same day or next day. Or I order frequently for the graduate. They have like a closing party for one of my daughter's schools. And I always order this ice cream truck, and it's like $750 or something. It's not very expensive, and it's a huge hit with the kids, but it would be so amazing if there was an Uber of this. And in fact, Uber did play with this. So I do think there's something there for you. Mike, who's your number 2 and your number 1?
My number 2 is Nutrafol. I wasn't 100% sold on the idea, but I was kind of sold on the founder. He seems like the person that will just be able to figure it out. Demonstrates a lot of the characteristics that we look for in founders. My number 1 was Hugo. I spent a lot of my life in professional services, and doing a good scope of work and tracking and billing your time are the 2 keys to be successful. I imagine there are a lot of freelancers out there that need help with those 2 things.
Molly.
I'm going to say, as a consumer, I really want Thirst and Growl to exist. I would not pay $19 for a month for it. So I want to revisit the pricing and exactly the features, like ordering ahead. For that reason, my second is Propense.ai. I think, predictive selling is a great idea, but you got to get that pitch clearer so that we don't have to ask you, like, what do you do again? And then my first is Hugo.
Fantastic. And Hugo, why?
I think this is totally necessary, and it's just sort of beautifully done. Abstracting away things that take up people's time has been a pretty solid business proposal in the past, and I don't think that changes.
Mike, you picked Hugo as your number 1?
Yes.
And your second was Nutrafol, right?
Yes.
Okay. So for me, Hugo is my first as well. It just feels like a product that's well conceived. I don't know of any competitors. The design was great. You could see it solving a real problem for people. And, in a competition like this, people are generally going to pick a product that seems to solve a real problem. And if the product is world-class design, I talk about that a whole bunch, that's a differentiator. In fact, in our firm, when we have an investment team meeting, one of the 9 secret tags that we have for our company is world-class design. What's world-class design mean? It means Apple would feature it as an app of the day. Very few startups and founders are capable of doing this without a massive amount of effort, but it is worth it as a differentiator. It might take you 3, 6, 12 months to be that good, to have a product that's so beautiful that it tips investors over into investing. You can think about Calm and Robinhood as but 2 examples of just world-class design. And my number 2 was thirst and growl. I think there's something here. You just haven't figured it out yet. I would almost rather see you build a community there by maybe putting together people who have locations and then groups of trucks, right? So that it's more of a marketplace, or you're kind of aggregating all this demand for these food trucks. And I remember when I lived in Santa Monica, there was a food truck night at some place that had a parking lot, and man, they did an incredible job of getting everybody there. And there've been other ones like this. So if I was having an event, there was one here in San Francisco. Somebody will tell me the name of it, but it was in the by Chrissy Field, or in the it was in the Presidio. Anyway, they would aggregate a bunch of food trucks. I think they charged the food trucks to come, but they would also do it for your events. And so I think a lot of people looked at investing in that company over time. I'm not sure if it ever happened, but there's definitely something there with thirst and growl. And now that the food truck industry has become more robust, I think you'll find some sort of sustainable business model there that involves matching the demand, right? So it's a fine place to start. I'm not sure I'd even bother charging people to be members of this. I would maybe just start it as a passion project, get to some critical mass, thousands of people. And if you can then send people to the food truck, or you can aggregate the demand, then you'll be valuable to both parties, right? So I think about the value there is how do you get people together and create that value? But you clearly have the passion for it. So I think there's something there. Keep grinding, triangulating on. Okay, last group. Here we go.
Awesome. Last group.
Thank you.
All right. Cybermonic is up. I can see it.
All right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Kevin. I got 2 minutes for you. Ready? Go.
I'm Kevin of Cybermonic. We've built assistive AI for security analysts, automating the mind-numbing incident investigation, taking up to 6 hours of their time every day. Meet Rayanne, part of a 5-person security team responsible for a staff of 30,000 in a global nonprofit. She outsourced Tier 1 incident response, yet her day is still consumed with manually gathering evidence across multiple systems using trial and error. Cybermonic gives Rayanne a single view of priority events. The graph-native technology makes her 20 times faster, providing deep context and correlation. For every incident, we explain what it is, how risky, where it's been, how long it's been there, and what to do about it. We are not dependent on cyber playbooks, saving a ton of upfront time. We make junior analysts function like senior resources, giving time for them to do high-value work of patching, maintenance, and hardening of systems. Where other systems see individual databases, we make sense of an entire connected system for actionable knowledge. When every other system makes you write code, we give you graph. Cybermonic fills a market gap, capable of modernizing old tools and leveling up new ones. We've proven this technology in research and government tests. Pivoted based on customer discovery. We're currently using free pilots to enter commercial markets and on track to for paid engagements in Q1 of next year. The labor savings alone justify the $10,000 a month price point. So 100 Sentinel clients is our path to 10 million in ARR, 100 million by extending to other platforms. And there's even more upside from new markets like fraud detection and asset management. Go-to-market requires direct sales, communicating the trust earned through testimonials and endorsements, using partnership programs for channel distribution, and building awareness with trade events and analyst relations. The team is experienced across graph analytics and cybersecurity software development. I'm Kevin. This is Cybermonic, saving up to 6 hours of analyst time every day.
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin. Move right along. If you want to go ahead and stop sharing your screen.
Yeah. Whoops. Go.
Cool. And then we'll go to WeRoute.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Sweet. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
That would be great. All right, we can see it. It's full screen now. 2 minutes on the clock. Ready? Go.
Hi, I'm Evan, co-founder of WeRoute, the navigation app that rewards drivers to avoid traffic.
If you live in a big city, then you already know traffic is a major problem that's only getting worse post-pandemic. So that's why we're building WeRoute, the first navigation rewards app. With turn-by-turn navigation equipped with our proprietary routing algorithm, drivers on WeRoute get access to low traffic routes not available on other apps. By taking alternate routes and avoiding traffic, drivers earn traffic points they can use towards cashback discounts and rewards at local retailers, providing a more rewarding commute for drivers like Jess. Now that she has to come back to the office, she's reminded just how much she hates driving home in rush hour. So Jess downloads WeRoute and signs up. She enters her destination to choose one of 3 routes home and selects the green route, which offers the most points and passes through Phil's, her favorite coffee shop, offering buy one, get one free drinks. She presses go and is on her way home. And on her way home, she stops by Phil's to get her free latte, then receives 25 cents off a gallon cash back at her next fill up. On arrival, she sees the 5 minutes of traffic she's avoided and that she saved over $6. So Jess proudly shares her trip and now actually looks forward to her next commute. WeRoute makes money with a 2% take rate on transactions while offering a premium subscription at $26 a year, then exploring in-app purchases and ads when at scale. Our MVP launches next spring. You can check out our interactive Figma prototype at the end of this deck. And we have lots of cool features on the roadmap like carpooling. As far as demand, 150 people signed up for our waiting list from just this one Denver IG ad that we ran for a week. And here Elon Musk tweets that defeating traffic is the ultimate boss battle. Well, it's a battle that we're willing to fight, starting in LA and Denver, using direct brand partnerships and our cashback APIs to reward users with traffic discounts at thousands of stores. We have a tough competitor in Google, of course, with Maps and Waze, but these apps are still leaving drivers stuck in traffic. WeRoute is the first and only navigation alternative with the incentives needed for traffic reduction. At 150,000 MAUs in 15 cities, we'd reach $10 million in revenue by 2026 and $100 million by 28. I'm passionate about this mission of improving commuters' lives, and I'm joined by a team with over 10 years of development experience. Thank you.
Excellent. Nice job there, Evan. Go ahead and stop sharing your screen. We'll move on to Book Sherpa.
We're good, Charlie?
Yep, I can see it and I can hear you. I've got 2 minutes for you, Lulu. Ready? Go.
Hey everyone, I'm Lulu Waters with Book Sherpa, your guide to learning easily. There's 8 billion people on the planet and 1 in 5 of us are dyslexic and we want help. There's no easy way for us to read textbooks or achieve our learning goals. We're overwhelmed when we try to do that, which gives us reading dread, anxiety, and leaves us feeling stupid. Meet Book Sherpa. You can rent your textbook. This is geared for college, obviously. Rent your textbook, add us for a couple bucks and learn faster, easier, and pain-free. Our advantage is our ease of use, noise-free, and retention drivers. We get a mood boost by feeling accomplished and better about ourselves. And notes at work, they're visual, they're organized, and they're usable. Our market adaptation plan is warm introductions to publishers, which we currently have, getting a science-backed status by doing lab-level R&D and partnerships with universities and association. Why now? The ebook market is growing, but one of the huge drivers is reader engagement, and e-textbook rentals are at a hyper growth of 23% CAGR through a year. Our business model is a proprietary enterprise license at $4 with an average license and a 9% market share in textbooks only. That leaves us with 30 million books read and 124 million at end of year 2028. Our competition includes Chegg and Pearson. While they do some things well, they fail in giving us distracted free reading, a suite for neurodiverse people, as well as visual notebooks. Our roadmap includes launching our MVP, launching into education ebooks next year, growing, getting our case studies done, cited as science-backed, partnering with institutions, and scaling to consumer ebooks in 2024. Our team includes myself, my co-founders, Di and Stanley, who have operations and development covered. Why me? I'm a 7-time founder. I'm a 3-time survivor. I'm dyslexic and I have ADHD and I'm tired of this shit. So this is our advisor team. That can get to my last slide and I am done. Thank you, Charlie.
Awesome job, Lulu. You want to go ahead and stop sharing your screen?
Thank you.
Got just 2 left here. We'll move on to Kara. Awesome. I can see it, Larry, but I can't hear you yet.
Hey, can you hear me?
There we go. I can hear you and we can see it. It looks like you've got like a timer that's overlaying your screen right there. So
there we go.
All right.
Ready to go.
2 minutes are on the clock for you. Ready? Go.
Hi, my name is Larry. The company is Cohort. It's the most convenient, transparent, and honest automobile servicing company on the planet. Most people find today's car repair experience is antiquated, inconvenient, and deceptive. Meet Peter and Katie. They have 2 cars and one needs a new battery. They're a working couple with kids. They don't have time to drop their car off and they don't want to sit in a waiting room. They don't know much about car repair and they think that their mechanic has been a little dishonest with them lately. Let me show you how in about 30 seconds, Peter can schedule his Subaru for its battery repair. We're going to open up our application, go to request service. We're going to select his Forester. We're going to go starting and charging system, select battery replacement, describe our problem as an old battery. Save that. We're going to skip additional notes, confirm our price, confirm that we want our vehicle picked up. We're going to confirm that our vehicle is safe to drive, confirm between your home and work address, and then simply select your date and time that is most convenient for you. And we can see in our upcoming pickups that our vehicle is ready to be picked up and ready for service. Next, Peter receives notification that his estimate and video verification attachments are ready. He watches his mechanic explain the diagnosis and confirms the problem, thus adding transparency and honesty to his transaction. Afterwards, Peter confirms his repairs. He schedules his vehicle to be dropped off and he pays his invoice. Peter's car is then dropped back off at his door and his service is completed. CarUp has taken the best features of the standard model and the house call model and left behind the other inconveniences. CarUp's business strategy is a new model and no competitors exist yet. CarUp is self-performing and revenues produced by Service Center. The average center will produce about $15 million in gross revenue, and we should anticipate opening 200 to 300 service centers nationwide, generating a cap of between $2 billion and $3 billion.
All right.
My name is Larry, and thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Go ahead and stop sharing. We'll grab one more presentation here on Robo Weeder.
Yes. Hi, Charlie. And I guess the last one is lucky number.
There we go. Lucky number 20.
Okay. You're welcome. Thanks a lot.
It's sharing. I don't see it yet, but it's coming. There we go. If you want to go full screen then.
Yep.
Once
You see it now?
I see it. And I got 2 minutes on the clock. Ready?
Okay.
Go.
Thank you. So my name is Rosen Kolev, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Robo Weeder, of Smart Farm Robotics, and I'll present to you the Robo Weeder. So our first goal is to address one of the oldest problems of agriculture, getting rid of weeds. Current solutions include spraying herbicides, tilling the land with machines, and manual weed removal. But herbicides are poisons or harmful chemicals. Machines add pollution, and weeds regrow quickly after them, and manual weed removal is labor-intensive, costly, and unreliable. Meet our solution, Robo Weeder, the fully autonomous smart weeding robot. It's a lightweighted solar-powered rover with various weed removal tools. A core feature is the AI image recognition algorithm, which we use to spot weeds among the desired plants. Combining various sensors, we achieve robust spatial orientation without expensive precision navigation equipment. Robo Weeder is a game changer versus current weeding methods, and it's much more functional than close startup competitors over a range of key criteria. Our initial target market is about 20,000 small and medium herbal and organic producers in EU, but the growth potential is huge, both worldwide and in our home EU market. Our target farmers have some of the most acute need for affordable weed control. They're also a high potential niche group per revenue per acre. And next in line would be, of course, vegetable farmers, flower growers, and overseas expansion. Our business model starts with hardware as a service, then unit sales, and SaaS growing the fastest to help us reach about 10 million of revenue by year 3 of market launch. How do we grow SaaS? Well, we're adding extra sensors for soil, air, and weather data. We can market our plant recognition AI and also expand into plant health analysis, and we plan to sell our robo navigation systems to other outdoor platforms. In short, our long-term strategy is to use the weeding robot as a solid knowledge and revenue basis from which to branch out into multiple other database markets. We're a small team with well-targeted competencies and complementary backgrounds. We're based in Sofia, Bulgaria, and Boston, Massachusetts. Thank you for your time. Ready for questions.
Awesome. Thanks, Rosen. Go ahead and stop sharing. There you go, Jason, your last group of 5.
Okay. Questions from, I don't know, who did questions first last time, Molly or Mike? Can't remember. I try to remember each time and then rotate. Who's got a question?
I have one for CarUp.
Okay.
I have 2 for CarUp. One is, why do you start the process asking the consumer to diagnose the problem? And two, what do you see as the capital expenditure you need to build out a facility to service all the cars?
Yeah, so we don't ask them to diagnose the problem. We ask them to go into the area of their vehicle that is having an issue and pick the problem that they think is closest to it. If they can't find it, there's another box in there that they can describe their problem, and we can figure it out once it gets to the shop. Answer your second question, somewhere between $5 and $10 million.
Molly, you have a question?
This is a good group. I have questions for everyone, which is my problem as always.
Yeah.
I think that my question, I'm going to go with Book Sherpa. Could you get this prescribed as part of an accommodation based on an ADHD diagnosis? I don't know the extent to which that exists in colleges, but certainly it does in
Yeah, that's a great point, Molly. And actually, I've dealt with that personally, where I stand for myself and ask for accessibility, and they literally have nothing to give right now. So I would love to explore that option at a certain point in time. I think it would be nice to have something that people get an option to, and they can get everything done, and it normalizes the experience, and it's not a shame-based or disability approach to it. So thank you for that question.
And then one quick follow-up, actually, this is ebook rental, right? Which is how you're able to build in these accommodations and graphics.
Yes,
and
our total market segment is ebooks in general. So there's 3 sectors: education, consumer, think Kindle and Apple, and then there's professional. So we're starting with education, moving into consumer, and then the total market.
Perfect, thanks.
Mhm.
What a great group. So many questions here. And, you know, for Book Sherpa, I just have a piece of advice. I don't have a specific question for anybody, but I have a couple pieces of advice. For our Robo Weeder, tons of competition there. Would be great to understand, like, what is the state of the art out there compared to your product. I just put one of them in there, like a laser one that kills them. Car Up, I thought was fascinating. I hope you're examining the Tesla app. They've made great strides in doing service through the app. I just did like 3 or 4 service things. Take pictures. It has categories of what you're fixing. It bills you through there. It picks up the car. They tell you when the car's ready. I mean, it is a wonderful process. And I do think like this type of platform would be great for you to run direct. I was also thinking while you're doing it, I thought the punchline was going to be, we do this for your local Chevy dealership, which makes the majority of its money from service. So we empower them with a white label tool to do this on their website. Who knows? But I thought Car Up was very interesting. For Book Sherpa, I get what you're doing. I think it's great. I have dyslexia. I think there's a bigger opportunity, which is to just start from first principles and say, hey, this is the #1, I don't know, history textbook that's used the most in high schools or colleges. We're just going to redo it for people with dyslexia, or we're just going to make a companion for it that we sell direct to folks and not have to have the friction of the rental and this and that. Just here's a better, book for people who do that, and just go direct and let people with dyslexia buy it, directly from you. There are people like Cliff Notes kind of people and other Get Abstract. There's a bunch of these services out there, and a Get Abstract for people with dyslexia is like a really cool idea. So maybe that's another vector of attack for you. Mike, who's your number 2 and your number? Oh wait, Molly's already got hers. Molly, your number 1 and your number 2, or maybe you don't. Mike,
No,
you
I
got
do.
a number 2?
I do.
Oh, you
I
do.
do.
Okay, good.
Yeah, totally. I'm just sneaking in a number 3, which is Car Up. My number 2, though, is Cybermonic. This is like one of those things where you hear it and you can't believe that this actually needs to be solved. I can't believe there's such a manual process involved here. So lots of potential there. My number 1 is Book Sherpa. I think that ebook rentals is a huge market. And if you can be a first mover in accessibility around textbooks and then extend that to other markets as well, I think there's a really big opportunity there.
Mike.
My number 2 was WeRoute, although evoking the WeWork seems a little bit like maybe not the best name, but nevertheless, I think gamifying the commute home, it's an audacious idea. It's a big idea. Swinging for the fences. I like it. And my number 1 was Car Up, cloud kitchens for car repair. My dad owned a couple of garages. It's a fascinating business model. Again, he's swinging for the fences, and I admire the audacity of the vision.
I picked car up as my number 2. I think there's something there. Far too much information per slide. 1.1 slide. Your slide looked like it was like your internal Notion documentation of your product. So presentation was terrible. Idea is great. Which if you had to pick, which one you wanted, terrible idea, great presentation, terrible presentation, great idea, you pick the latter. So I did like that. Cybermonic is just very clearly the best of this group because it's a real problem. It's an expensive solution, so nobody's buying this unless they really need it, $10,000 a month. And it's so clear. Everybody watching this understood it, even if you're not in the cybersecurity space. Hey, an analyst costs a lot of money. This makes your analyst bionic. You can, not hire the 5th analyst, or you could get 20% more out of each analyst, whatever it is. Huge value, clear value proposition. Of course, we'd want to talk to the customers and make sure they actually are executing on that. But you'll see VCs really be drawn to Cybermonic because high price point, et cetera. But, this is Founder University where we're triangulating around an idea. And so you got to keep your flexibility high. Not everybody's going to be like Cybermonic in this case. WeRoute, I was kind of like, I'm not sure I need this versus Waze. I'm not sure if people want rewards or not. It seemed like it was a little too convoluted. Most products are a little simpler. But I was wondering, like, doesn't real-time traffic data make the big difference here in terms of time? So I was very skeptical of it, but would certainly be willing to hear more. Book Sherpa, again, I did that one. Car Up, I did that one. For Robo Weeder, my God, it's very early days. So you better have some robotic people showing how you're different than some of the other robots out there and really get to that proof of concept stage really quick. And then who is it for exactly? Because I have a feeling there's different missions here, like somebody who's got a garden with tomato plants in it, in a small garden in their backyard is different than somebody who's probably got a solution already for this, if they've got, they're in the Central Valley, with, very large fields already. So, what the mission is for that robot is critically important because that will define the cost of the robot versus, like a Roomba is much different than, a self-driving car or a robotic coffee machine. But anyway, these are just 20 great companies. Founder University, it's just, I hope it's been really good for everybody here. It's been great for us to do this. I'm going to be teaching the next one. And it's a key part of what we're doing here at Launch because we want to meet founders earlier. And so most VCs are not going to want to meet you right now, but most accelerators will, and some friends and family will. So when you look at these great presentations, you see this enthusiasm for the space, whether it's a food truck or, dyslexia and books, so many different really interesting categories to go after. Designers with Hugo, influencers and meals and products, just a lot of great creativity here. Understand that we have a milestone-based system in Silicon Valley, and you want to kind of get on that track and embrace it. Okay, so what does that track include? Well, you all buy the fact that you've decided to build a product. You now have moved from the 90% of people with ideas who want to be founders to the 10% who have built an MVP. Congratulations, you just got ahead of 90% of the pack. Okay, now let's take that 10% and let's open that up. So let's say there's 1 million people a year who want to be entrepreneurs. Then 100,000 make a prototype, an MVP, or a beta, which seems to be the best way to describe what we saw today. Okay, now you got those 100,000. Of those 100,000, who are going to be able to refine that beta, get a couple of customers to use it, and have enough proof points that Y Combinator, Launch Accelerator, Techstars, or your local accelerators willing to take a flyer and give you 50, 100, 150K. That's kind of your next waypoint. Now, some people might be able to skip that if they have customers and can get to seed investors. But in today's market, that's the most likely next step for you. And if you get to that one, now you've taken the 100,000 people who built prototypes and maybe 10,000 of those actually get accepted to an accelerator. So now we're down to 1% of the people who had an idea, 10% of the people who got an MVP. If you can get accepted to one of those accelerators, you now represent 1%. Now let's explode out. If it is in fact, let's say 10%, 10,000. Of the 10,000 who go to an accelerator over the next year, how many of them clear market and get a seed round done? I would say it's probably going to be 30% of those, so 3,000. So 0.3% of the million people with an idea. Those are your next two hurdles. And what it takes to get each of those is product velocity, customer traction, the product looking better and better each time. That's really how people make decisions here. So really ask yourself, can I make my product just a little bit better every day, every week? Can I talk to my customers and understand them more? And then can I communicate what I've learned from those customers and input into my product to the people who accept people into accelerators? And, there's hundreds of them out there, these accelerators. They have to accept another 7 or 70 or 200 people in the next year. Why not you? Why not you? And if you think you can skip that step and get right to raising $1 million or $500,000 or $2 million, more power to you. And this market's a little bit hard, but that is my hope with Founder University, is that we can meet you when you have your ideas, when you got your beta, and what a great success this has been. So I really think we should all just unmute for a second here and give a resounding golf clap to Charlie.
Thanks, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie.
Everybody say thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah, you're the best, Charlie.
For the win.
Okay, there you go. Thanks, everybody. All right, Mike and Molly, any closing thoughts here? Maybe we'll take a couple questions.
Yeah, I thought this was just a really, really great group. I thought the presentations were great, as you mentioned, Jason. Charlie definitely did a good job coaching them, and kudos to everybody, and good luck. Hope we fund a bunch of you.
Molly, any closing thoughts here for our founders or advice before we go to questions? We'll take 2 or 3 questions.
Consistently amazed by the quality of the companies and the entrepreneurs and the ideas that we see here. It's amazing. And then just see me when you want help with your storytelling. We got this.
Charlie, any thoughts here for this group? And then maybe if you have a question, I think you can just raise your hand there with the reactions or something, and then we'll take a couple of questions. Or you can type your questions into the chat. I'll take them there too if you don't want to unmute yourself. But we'll take a couple of questions. Most people have questions about fundraising typically, or the state of the market. Yeah. But I'll take questions about anything. So anybody have a question?
Moses got his hand up.
Hey guys, appreciate it. So I just want to say clarification, the footage description is actually optional. That's basically introducing like featured vendors to go get free items. Otherwise, it's accessible to everybody. And as far as the second, Jason, you mentioned, that's actually all this project is based on experience myself, in a sense, chasing a food truck for 3 days because I was like craving some tacos al pastor. That's where it was born, the idea from. And the second one is actually, we will have hit mapping on the map, which means once you activate it, you will see where cool things are happening. This is where you discover smorgasbord or food truck rallies. And you mentioned also, like, I think once a month there's in Venice, stuff like that. So that's already on the roadmap.
All right, there you go. Not a question, but hacking the system, as great founders do, to answer questions. I love it. Well done. Shri asks an actual question. How many companies will you pick for the accelerator, and what would be the terms? The terms are currently $100,000 for 6%. And Jackie, who's on the call here, I think, runs the accelerator and makes the final decision on the companies. We don't have a specific number that we take from Founder University. We've now got a collection of 3 cohorts. So I don't know what the total number is now, but it's over 500 founders have gone through this. So we're in contact with all of them. We're keeping up with them. And we invested in 18 or so. I don't know, it's 20 between the 25K checks and then the accelerator checks. So this is a big experiment for us. And Jackie, maybe you could tell us, I don't know if you have the list with all the companies here, but or if you remember any of them, which ones to use stood out as like most likely to get another meeting and why, and what do we look for, generally speaking?
Oh, sure. In terms of what we look for, I think that, any early traction. And then the fact that if you're tracking it, that we can see. So I would just urge everyone from the day one just to start tracking all of your metrics. We look for strong founders and execution where you are at this time, like what you've been able to build with very little money that you've had so far. And certainly if you do have any customers or users, if they're delighted.
Yeah. So, the design of the product is the UX of the product, the customer's opinion on the product, their usage of the product, revenue, of course, if there is any. So all of those things are traction and proof points, right? And you're in a competition in the world to show that you're moving faster and getting more shit done than other people. It's a giant competition. And so I suggest you win it. And that comes from just being great at building great product. The decisions by investors are made in this time period of your startup, the early days, based on your knowledge of the customer and what you build for that customer. So just keep that in mind. The market size, the TAM, your future plans, your deck, all this stuff is secondary to just how amazing is that product and how delighted are those customers. So if you can put another 10 hours a week into something, making the product look better and making more customers use it, or getting 2 more customers to pay for it, all that shows product velocity and that sort of growth.
Jason, would you like us to continue with the deep search solution for the All-In podcast and this week?
Can't stop you, so feel free. I mean, I guess we could actually, but I officially give you permission to pursue it for another year. Yeah, if you're going to do anything commercial with it, as long as it says unofficial, it's fine. I think we kind of let the fans do unofficial stuff. Totally fine. I assume you're taking those transcripts from the YouTube API right now?
No, we are transcribing with humans.
Okay, great. Yeah, great. With humans?
AI plus human.
Ah, got it. Okay. So using like Amazon service or something and then having a human polish it. Yeah.
Right.
I'm fine with that for now. Yeah. I mean, we were planning on doing this all ourselves at some point, and I'm working on it for This Week in Startups. So if people build free versions of it for us, and I think you got to figure out a business model for yours, but sure. Yeah. I give you permission to work on it for another year. In terms of gaps I see in the newsletter space, I don't see many. So for the folks working on, they asked that question in the chat, I would really talk to customers and figure out what they perceive the gaps are, people who have newsletters. And man, I think it's a very crowded space. So I'd think it through. Maybe there's something you could do on top of the newsletters. But the category might actually be overfunded right now with too many options and too many newsletter platforms chasing too few newsletter writers. So I would think deeply about if that is the right space to go into right now, and if you actually can provide enough value in that chessboard. How do you charge your electric car at home? I have Tesla chargers, of course, but I have had 220s. I literally have a single 220 that I plug into as well, and I've done that before with homes. My last home, instead of getting Tesla chargers, I just put in 3 220s. I literally had 3 220s because it was so cheap. It's like $200 to put them in, and they were already in the garage. The service had been in there. So instead of putting Tesla chargers in, I just plugged in the Tesla charger and got the same effect. So I think a lot of people think that way. And then I also thought, well, when the next person comes here, maybe they'll want dryers here. Maybe they won't have a Tesla, but the 220 does a nice job of that. So yeah. Stefan, you guys published my book in Bulgaria. Thank you for that. I was very passionate of you to do that. Anybody else have a question?
Yeah, Jason, in a B2B setting, how deeply would you set up the context of the problem before articulating the solution? It seemed maybe in my presentation, for example, the problem between sales and pre-sales professionals didn't come across as clearly to you. So any advice on that front? Generally,
if you actually have a customer using the product and you can show the problem, examples matter is one thing we work on in the accelerator. So, in Founding University, we work on building the prototypes and just explaining to how startups work. In the accelerator, Jackie works for 16 weeks with people on really refining those presentations. And we have a rule. We have many rules of presenting, but examples matter is a big one, right? And if you give a specific example, meet Jason. He's got a 30-person company. They use 12 different SaaS products. He wants to know what other SaaS products that he uses. So he authenticates or uploads his bills with them and shares them in here. And he fills out these forms, this little survey, and then we tell him what else we work on, whatever it happens to be. Or here, meet Jason. He's the sales manager here. He's got 12 salespeople selling a new SaaS product. They want to know who they should target next. We, they upload their client list and we tell them, here's the next best client. They found these 3 that they would have never found of. They're not on LinkedIn, yada, yada. So, there's some way to do it through telling a client story, and a number of people use that device today. So I think using an example, the more rich and detailed and real the example is, the better.
Hey, Jason, it's Lulu.
Hello.
Hi, I'm curious, you mentioned a bigger marketplace and doing just the book, right? But we've looked at that and there's a thing called digital domain rights. And I'm curious if you have any knowledge around that, or if this is an offline conversation, that's fine too, but we've ruled it out for that reason. And maybe there's something I just don't know.
So I've never heard digital domain rights. I've never heard that term. There is fair use in summarizing works. And I think you could look at the history of Cliff Notes to figure that out. So you couldn't take the entire book and just copy it wholesale. But if you made supplemental content for people that matched up with a specific book, like if you took my book, Angel, and you wrote a summary of it, and you put questions you could ask yourself, and you designed your own content around it, and you charge for it, as long as it passed the 4-part test of fair use, it doesn't confuse the users. The percentage of the original work it uses is probably the most key for you. So if you were to use 80% of my content, it'd be like, okay, now they don't have to buy my book. But if you used, a 2-sentence, like Jason says this in the book, and it was 5% of the book, and then here's your summary of like what you think of that, it could be clear. So, and you can test that pretty cleanly you can test this by doing a nonprofit version of it. Just pick the #1 textbook in the world and make supplemental materials for people with ADHD, make a single website for it, and then offer it for free to people based on donation, and see if anybody gets upset about it. You'd find out pretty quick if they like it or don't. But yeah, it's quite a rigged system. I almost think I would look into the space of, forget about dyslexia, just if you're going to go in there and make a better product and it helps people with dyslexia, maybe you could just build competing products. There is an open source program or a project. So there's an open source project for textbooks, and maybe you could draft off of that and make the version for people with dyslexia and learning differences. So I think there's a lot of opportunities there. I don't know if the one you have is working yet or not, but there might be some more triangulation and brainstorming you can do. So I always like to open the aperture of these businesses up a little bit. So this is one of the hard things as an entrepreneur. Should you go super niche, monetize quickly, or maybe open it up to a bigger opportunity? And there's some thoughtfulness in that conversation that you have to have. Most VCs are going to look at this business and think it's complicated and niche, I think. So if you're going to go the venture route, they're going to want something bigger, right? Got to figure out how to get this to 10 million revenue, then 100. A business built off the backs of the textbooks might not be that. They might look at that as $1 million business, right? And then if you're interested in building $1 million or $1 to $3 million business, and you're passionate about it and you want it to be self-sustaining, great. It just may not be a venture-backed business.
Got it.
And that's one of the things that happens during these discussions, is you figure out if you're a venture-backed business.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. One thing we know is that when you build for neurodiverse people, it works for neurotypical. If you build for neurotypical, it's a one-way valve. It doesn't go back.
Yeah.
So building for this, we're actually building for everyone, but I niched it down based on what I've learned so far. So I don't want to take too much time, but I appreciate you. Thank you.
Of course.
And Jason, just a question from Robo Weeder, Rosen. Any particular advice you might give us for hardware as a service? Any particular metrics we should watch out for?
Yeah, hardware as a service, I think it should be 90% software based, and maybe the hardware is 10% of the cost. So we have a company, Density.io. Their sensors, I think, cost hundreds to low thousands of dollars. And so they've figured out a way to make that work. You just don't want it to be that you got a $10,000 product and you're dividing it into 30 payments of $300 each, right? That's not going to work. So that's just financing for a very expensive hardware product. So if it is a $10,000 product, they buy the $10,000 product and they pay $500 a month to operate it, whatever it is for the software component. So yeah, just be careful you don't get caught up in just a race to the bottom on the hardware. That is the biggest challenge for hardware as a service. Okay. And that's why people are moving to hardware-enabled SaaS, is how some people are saying it now, just to tip off the investors to, don't worry. Yes, there are sensors involved, but they're commodity sensors. That's not the important part. It's the software and the analysis and the subscription that makes sense here. And if you can give the product away for free, which I don't think you can, but if the product is really not that expensive when compared to the software, that's the key for it to work.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay.
Hi, Jason. This is Mehul with Help Compiler. We recently received a an inbound inquiry from an SI, system integrator. So we've been working with digital health companies so far. So should we also start talking or targeting system integrators to see if they're interested?
Of course. I mean, if system integrators want the tool, yeah. I mean, I think Zapier is probably your closest analogy. Is that right?
Yes.
And so I would meet that founder if you can, or meet people who worked for that company during job interviews or something, or ask them and just see what was the secret to their success. I think if this, then that, and Zapier had 5 years of just grinding it out. And then once it became kind of standardized that these tools really were helpful, people were willing to pay for them, then they started to make money. So I think you're very early, and it's going to be a lot of work, and it's going to be very slow for 5 or 6 or 7 years. And then maybe it starts to click, and like Zapier, you start to get to tens of millions of dollars a year in revenue. But I think it took a long time to get there. Yeah.
Right. So for us, I think we've already started to kind of receive a lot of inbound requests, and we're already working with the design partners. So we were surprised. One of my Hacker News, not the Hacker News, Indie Hacker post actually got this new lead.
Amazing.
Called
yeah.
design. Thanks.
Fantastic. All right, I'll take one more question, and then I got to jump to a founder meeting. Okay, so
Heather
got
has
their
her
hand up.
Yeah, Heather has her hand up.
Hey, Jason, thanks so much for your feedback. And also I used to live in Bay Ridge. So
very cool.
Yeah, so it's cool to see you and all that. Anyway, I really struggled, you commented on the value prop, and I think that's really real. Trying to bring two marketplaces together. I think that the value for self-published authors is very real. It's a matter of trying to get readers on the other side to see the value in it. And that's kind of where I was focusing on this, like kind of a widget where people could have a bunch of books. Like, let's say you're an author and you have 15 books published, you could have like kind of a bookshelf that you share with other people, and somehow like focusing on this. So my takeaway from today is like, I need to really design something pretty awesome that people are just going to want to use, and they're going to want to share. I don't know if you have any other like
I would come up with a very specific value proposition that isn't, we're going to recreate Goodreads. So
yeah, because we don't want to, because their UI sucks, and also but
I wouldn't worry about what sucks or doesn't suck about it. It obviously is awesome for a group of people, but is there something new that the world wants in terms of meeting with these authors or getting to know them? I know a lot of them publish on Patreon, or this is why the why now and what are you doing that's new is so important to VCs. They've seen people try to replicate other products or kickstart other communities. The cold start problem is real. You got to do something that's uniquely different, right? And that's not being solved, 80% by your solution. So a 5X solution is what people are looking for.
Yeah. And I think, one of the original features was to have a book club hub. So book clubs could actually connect with these authors, bring them in for readings or do Zoom sessions or whatever. I started feeling like all the features were getting too many and I needed to focus on just one thing. So maybe I need to zoom out again and rethink.
But what is the one thing, that was the thing I didn't get from the presentation. It's like, what's the one thing that this platform does for readers or authors that no other platform out there does, where it does 10 times better? And you got to hold yourself to like, what is that solution, right? As opposed to, you can just spend your time building features, right? And a lot of founders do that. There's build feature, build filter, build filter. But does that feature actually catch fire and really, people lose their minds over it and just can't get enough of it? And you'll know that when you see it. And it just requires a little bit of time in the wilderness, triangulating and being willing to,
keep iterating.
Iterate, and then maybe throw away previous work, which is really hard for people, and start over. Like going from 0 to 1, it doesn't work. So you go back to 0. That's something most founders can't do. And so,
I can delete code really easily. So
I think there's something there, in terms of, that there's something with self-published authors and getting them fans and empowering them that might be there. Because I know a lot of these self-published authors, I've watched some of them on YouTube. They start YouTube channels, they have Patreons, they give early access to the work, and they do readings, and they, meet the fans. And it's exhausting for them, from what I understand, because they have to produce 2,000 words a week, week after week. So there's definitely something there in terms of the fans and that connection. And there's Wattpad that's shown that as well. And that'll come from what they call customer discovery, talking to the authors and just keep talking to them and hearing what their problems are and what they want help with, right? and then coming up with something super creative that you can test. But great job, everybody. I'm going to jump off. I don't know if Mike and Molly want to take more questions or not, but I got to go.
They both had to
great
jump
job,
for
everybody.
calls.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
Thanks,
Great
Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
job. Talk to you
Thank you.
soon.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Jason.
everybody. Have a
Thanks,
great day.
Jason. Thanks
Great
a lot.
job,
Jason.
everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, see you.
Where'd Charlie go? Did he leave?
I think so.
All right, guys,
Have
have
a
a good
great
one.
evening, whatever.
Great to hear everyone
Thank you,
pitch.
guys.
Best
Bye.
of luck,
Bye.
everyone.
All the best.
Everybody.
Thanks,
Best of luck.
everyone. Cheers, cheers. Bye. Bye.
Cheers.